The day I discovered the truth started with something so small, so seemingly insignificant, it could have slipped right past anyone else. A quick glance at a phone, that's all it took. But sometimes, all it takes is a second for your entire life to split in half. Grant had left his phone on the kitchen counter, something he never did. And maybe that was the first clue, that this wasn't a careless mistake. It was a shift, a break in the pattern. The wallpaper that used to show the two of us, beaming newlyweds, sunlight catching our smiles in Santorini, was gone, replaced. Now, it was her, Haley, the new assistant with the always too tight blouse and the laugh that grated like nails on a glass, the one who insisted she was just helping him catch up on emails. She wasn't in a wedding dress, no. She was in a bikini, on a boat, looking smug, and worse, comfortable. My heart didn't drop. It detonated. I didn't say anything that night, or the next. I smiled. I kissed him. I made dinner. Because sometimes you need silence to hunt the truth, and I wasn't going to confront him empty-handed. Over the next week, I became an archaeologist of betrayal. I dug through credit card statements, late-night Uber rides to nowhere, charges at restaurants I'd never been to, hotel invoices emailed to a separate folder, hidden, like I wasn't supposed to see. But the thing is, I always see. I just hadn't wanted to until now. And then came the camera footage. I'd installed a security system the year before when Grant went on a trip. I'd forgotten about it. He hadn't, because he never changed the password. And that, my friends, was his final mistake. July 3rd, our anniversary eve. He said he had to work late, said he was meeting a client. I watched him enter the house at midnight with her, watched them laugh, watched her wear one of my robes, watched him open the wine I'd saved for our 5th year. That was the night I stopped loving him. But I didn't cry. I planned. July 4th. Independence Day. Fitting, right? I invited his parents for dinner, told them I had a surprise for our anniversary. Grant looked thrilled, said he'd try to make it special. Oh, it would be. I cooked everything from scratch. Wore the red dress he once said made me look like his future. Played our wedding song in the background. His mom beamed. His dad made a toast. And then, just before dessert, I said I had a video. Grant smiled, thinking it was a slideshow. It was, but not the kind you put music over. The first slide was the wedding photo, our old wallpaper. The second was the bikini picture. The third, a screenshot of the hotel receipt. The fourth, security footage. Grainy but clear. You could hear a pin drop. His mother gasped. His father stood up. Grant didn't move. He just stared. As if by not reacting, he could stop time. Then came the moment that changed everything. I picked up my phone, clicked the button, and airdropped the entire folder, pictures, receipts, video clips, to everyone at the table. Grant's phone lit up. So did his parents. Then I stood. I just thought, I said, voice steady, that the people who loved us most should see who you really are. And I left. No yelling, no tears, just the truth. And sometimes, that's the loudest thing of all. The next few weeks were brutal. Grant tried everything, calls, texts, flowers, even showed up at my work, but I'd already made my choice. And in the state of California, betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was legal. The divorce was swift, clean, surgical. But I wasn't just losing a husband. I was shedding a skin. I changed my number, moved to a new place, started painting again. Something I hadn't done since college. At first, it felt like survival. Then it felt like peace. People think heartbreak is loud, that it screams in your chest. But the truth? It's quiet. It's a slow, unfolding silence. A realization that love didn't leave you. You left it the moment you realized it wasn't love at all. And on the other side of that silence is power. I began to speak at small gatherings, women's groups, seminars. Then one day, A podcast invited me to share my story. It went viral. Suddenly, I wasn't just a woman with receipts, I was a symbol. The inbox flooded. Women from all over the country. Stories like mine, some worse. One said, "You gave me permission to stop forgiving the unforgivable." Another wrote, "I airdropped my truth too." It became a movement. They called it Airdrop the Truth. I didn't ask for fame. I didn't want it. But maybe the world needed a mirror, and maybe I was willing to hold it up. It came on a Thursday. Subject line, "Can we talk?" From Grant. I hovered over the trash icon, but curiosity? She's a noisy neighbor. I clicked. "Hey Madison, I know I don't deserve a response. I just need 5 minutes to apologize. In person. No excuses. Just closure." Closure. The magic word for cowards. But also, the finish line I hadn't realized I was still circling. We met at a cafe near where we first kissed. Full circle or cruel irony? You decide. Grant looked thinner. Eyes tired. His voice measured. "I messed everything up," he said. I stayed silent. Let him sit in the discomfort. I was insecure. I felt like I didn't deserve you. And when Haley gave me attention, I mistook it for something real. I sipped my coffee. Bitter. Fitting. "You didn't just cheat," I said. "You deleted us. One wallpaper at a time." He asked, "Do you hate me?" I looked at him, and for the first time, I didn't feel anything. Not love, not anger, just space. "No," I said, "you're not worth that much energy anymore." That's when he broke. Tears, regret. A man who'd built a throne from lies, watching the kingdom turn to ash. I stood up, left my half-finished drink, walked out into the sunlight, and it hit me. I wasn't just walking away from a man. I was walking back to myself. The wind was warm, my shoulders felt lighter, and that quiet voice inside, the one that once begged for crumbs of love, she was finally silent because she was full. A year later, I opened my own art studio, called it the Matchstick Room. Our motto, let it burn, build it brighter. The first exhibit, a series called Deleted Files, abstract paintings inspired by women's stories of betrayal and rebirth. One piece got sold to a museum, another to a New York gallery, but the most important one still hangs in my home. It's called Wallpaper, just layers of white and gold, with a slash of red down the middle. People ask what it means. I just smile and say, sometimes love looks like fire, but survival looks like me. It arrived in a pale blue envelope, no return address. Inside, a note written in pen, shaky but strong. Dear Madison, I watched your interview from my hospital bed. I've been married 36 years. Found out last month my husband had a second family. But after your story, I didn't feel crazy. I felt seen. Thank you for being the light in my darkest hallway. No signature, just hope. And that was enough. 3 months later, I got an email from a university dean. They wanted me to speak at their annual leadership conference. The topic? The power of personal rebellion. Funny, isn't it? 1 year ago, I was crying in a car over a JPEG. Now I was being asked to inspire the next generation. I said yes, but I didn't write a speech. I brought photos. Not of Grant, not of Haley, but of women. Strong, raw, unapologetic. When I finished, the standing ovation lasted 2 minutes. And for the first time, I wasn't clapping for survival, I was clapping for revolution. It happened just as the leaves began to change. Grant called. I let it go to voicemail. He said, I know we're done, but I want you to know. I see it now. I see what I ruined. I didn't respond. Because closure isn't something you give someone. It's something you choose. I blocked his number, not out of anger, but out of peace. I started gardening, painting, traveling solo. I watched sunsets without anyone narrating them, and every now and then I'd open my phone and see my wallpaper, a picture of me, standing on a cliff in Portugal, hair wild, smile untamed. That image didn't represent loneliness. It represented a woman who'd survived her own ending and still chose to shine. 1 year to the day after the dinner, I hosted a solo exhibition. It was called The Airdrop. 29 paintings, each one inspired by a woman who refused to stay silent. The final piece, titled Read Receipts, a blank canvas with thousands of tiny, hand-etched quotes from messages women never sent. It sold in under 5 minutes. But its real value was reminding people, even silence has a story. I never set out to be famous or fearless. I just wanted the truth. But truth has a funny way of becoming wildfire. So if you're listening to this, wondering if you should stay, wondering if you're crazy, wondering if you're enough, let me answer, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're not asking for too much. You're just finally seeing the wallpaper for what it is. And when you finally do, I hope you choose to airdrop your truth, even if it burns. This isn't a story about heartbreak. It's a story about becoming. And darling, becoming is always worth the burn. If this story moved you, pause for a moment. Maybe you saw yourself in her silence, her strength, or that moment she finally said, enough. Like this video if you've ever had to choose truth over comfort. Subscribe for more stories that don't just break hearts. They build back power. And in the comments, tell us, what was your wallpaper moment? Or just drop a if you're ready to airdrop your own truth. Because this isn't just a video, it's a mirror, a movement. Airdrop the truth.